Um, just wanted to do a very simple tutorial for you today for HTML and CSS. We're going to be creating a navigation bar for pretty much any website. It's going to be very basic. It's not going to include things like Bootstrap or anything like that. It's just going to be straight HTML and CSS coding that we're going to do. And I have just a blank file in a text editor. I'm using Atom. My name is also Adam, but different spelling. Anyway, you could use Sublime or Dreamweaver. Usually I use Dreamweaver, but for this one I'm just going to be doing it straight up from scratch and show you how to create a navigation bar. Like I said, it's going to be very simple. I might do something at the end if I have a little extra time, where I create a navigation bar with icons, like Facebook icon, Twitter icon, etc. But we'll see. I might put that in another video. Alright, so let's get started. So I have my new file here. And of course this is an HTML document, so we're going to start out with our doc type, which is an opening bracket and exclamation point, and the doc type is going to be, oddly enough, HTML. I guess it's probably better practice to do it capital. So that's our opening doc type. Then we have our opening HTML tag to let our browser know to render this document HTML, of course. Next, after that, pretty much most important is our title tag. We'll do test Nav Bar, whatever, it doesn't matter. Whoops. This is the title bar that goes across the top of your screen. And then after that, let's see, we're going to do just a quick meta tag to let the browser know that we're using character sets for English. So we're going to do this here, UTF-8, which is pretty much the most common one you're going to use. There's other meta tags you can put in there, but I'm not going to worry about that for right now. So next, see, getting ahead of myself. So after the HTML opening tag, we're going to open the head tag, and then down here we're going to close it. I sometimes leave a few extra spaces up here just to remind myself that that's the head, and in case I have to add anything else to that. This is going to be a quick thing. I'm not going to build the entire HTML document and explain every attribute of it. This is strictly for a nav bar. In fact, I may not even include a header. I may just include the nav section of it. But you definitely have to have this section, the head section here, because that houses all of our information that's not going to be on the web page, the actual page that the user sees. So anyway, next is the part that the user is going to see, which is the body section. Come down here, close that off. Body. Okay. And then of course in here is where we create all of our data. Now, alright, you twisted my arm. We're going to create a header section, and because we are using HTML5, the beauty part of it is that we can just add, this attribute header for the header section. Remember, if you remember before, or if you're new, this was the difference. If you wanted a header section, you'd have to do a div and then ID equals header, close that off, or class equals header, whatever. But now we don't have to do that. We simply type in header, and HTML5 knows what we're talking about. So we'll do heading 3 tag, test nav bar, close that off, header 3. Okay. And then a little bit later on, I'll show you in the CSS file how we can just, it's a lot easier. I'm going to go ahead and save this right now. So we're going to say test navbar .html. In the Atom text editor, when you have just a plain text editor, you usually have to add the .html or .htm tag onto that, but in Dreamweaver usually you don't, because it does all that for you. So feel free to use what you need to use. Okay, so it's saved up here. So we have our header here. It's nothing big deal, whatever. You can add a paragraph tag. This is our Nav Bar example, whatever. And like I said, this is just going to be basic HTML and CSS. Alright, now, like I said before, HTML5, the beauty part is there's a lot of different tags, and I won't get into them now for another video, hopefully, especially if somebody comments or likes or whatever and asks for it. I'd be more than happy to do that. But for HTML5, for a nav bar or nav section, we're just going to type nav and close that baby off like that. Bing. And that and that's really it and that constitutes your nav section. Now, if you wanted to get into Bootstrap or things like that, you know, there's about a million other attributes you can add to this. But for right now, it's just a super basic thing. Speaking of super basic, we're going to indent and we're going to create a list, an unordered list. And this is the most common way of creating a nav bar, is to create an unordered list. You know, and anything inside that list, you can have images, you can have icons, you can have whatever. But for nav bars, I would suggest always 100% of the time doing an unordered list. So to do our unordered list, we do UL for unordered list, and then we come down and we close that off. Okay. Tab in. Whoops. Yes, tab in again. And now we're going to create our list items. All right. And that is li list item. And then we're going to create a test link. So that's what's going to show up inside of the that's going to be the text that's going to show up, and I'll show you in just a second. We'll create another one here, link, test link, whatever. This could be anything, about, home, you know, contact, whatever. We'll do a third one since, you know, that's typical. Test link 3. Close that off. Okay, now we'll save all, and then if you want to see what this looks like, where am I here? You can just open this in our browser, and this is what we have. Here's our header, here's our paragraph, and see how HTML5 gives you this automatic little padding. That's just a nice little HTML5 thing. Now here's our unordered list. Okay, it's literally just a list of things. When you type in unordered list, it HTML tells the browser to ding, you know, put it in the next thing, and that's it. And you know, for the H3 thing, it's, you know, whatever. It just gives it a bold text, and you can change that and everything like that. So for right now, we're gonna stick with that. And okay, so we have our unordered list here. Now, in order to turn this attribute, because right now when we have that, you notice it's just copy, it's just text, it's nothing to do with it. So what we do for that is, what I like to do is, especially if I've already typed it out, I like to cut that out with Command X or Control X. Then I type in our anchor tag with a hyperreference equals in quotes, and since this is just a test, I put a hashtag or a pound sign from when I was a kid. And this is our actual link that makes it a link. You anchor this text or whatever you put in there to another attribute, to another page, or what have you. And then we simply close that off. Then I paste back in our copy. Then we close off our anchor tag. Oops. Okay. and that's it. And then, so I'll just copy and paste, and as a web developer, and maybe others will agree with me, that's the only kind of copying and pasting you should do, is copy and paste your own to make things a little easier on yourself. I'll just add a 1 into this. Okay, so we're going to save all, okay, whoops, and then we're going to reopen it. I shouldn't be reopening these, you can just refresh and it'll do that. But see how now they're clickable links here, alright? Bing, bang, boom. Pretty simple. Alright. So, now, in order, so those are our links. So, like I said, a very basic thing. Bing, you know, clicks, nothing really special about it. Okay. So, in order to make that more attractive, more interactive, etc., we're going to create a CSS file. Actually, for this tutorial, maybe I'll just show you right in here instead of, you know, whatever. So we'll forget that. So inside the head tag, now this is not, well, you know what? I'm going to show you the optimal. I'm not gonna, you know, do it. I'm not going to show you the sort of cut method, because the sort of method that is somewhat frowned upon is to just add it into here like this, and then you type in your whatever, your H3, and then you have your CSS in there. The optimum way to do it is to have a separate CSS file. We'll call this styles .css, because we're using a text editor, so you got to use that. Oops, alright, I have something. Alright, so we'll just say underscore nav bar, whatever. You can call that whatever you want. So we're going to say that, and what I want to do in the head tag, of course, we have to link it so that the document knows to use that, and oddly enough, we're going to use link. It's a style sheet, so we have to add that in. This is, again, this is very basic, and after that, we're going to do the hyperreference, because it is technically another document that's on the web, or that's on a hosting server. So we have to hyperreference it, much like down here where you get the thing. So styles underscore nav bars, I think we call it. Yes, it's right up there. .css. Don't forget that. And then just close that off. So now our HTML document knows to grab this particular thing, this particular file, in order to apply that CSS. So a beauty part of what we can do is, first of all, in HTML5 and CSS3, I believe, we're going to create a color for our body, which is the back part here. So for this HTML5 and CSS, we simply type body, where before you would need to use hashtags or dots or whatever. Now we say background color, see, and sort of fills it in for you. And I mean, you can type whatever, light purple, and close off with a semicolon. All right, and then we save all. Let's see if that works. Hopefully it does. We'll see. And then we refresh, and it didn't. Good. I don't know. Whatever. All right. We'll say blue here. There we go. So save all. There we go. Blue. That's a terrible shade of blue. Let me see if I can change that up. See? Light blue. Okay. Save all. And that's a little bit better. So you can see that there's some delineation. Now, next for our header, sort of fills it in for you. Opening brackets. We could do background color again, just to show you that there's some delineation. I think light yellow is a thing. Alright, it's not, whatever. So again, this is, I'm just doing this real quick because it's not the most, it's not going to be the most attractive website ever. And even though I pride myself on that, it's just not going to be. Alright, so our header portion is that. And you can add things like text align, whoops, text spell, more like it, center, like that, save all, and then it'll center everything there. And see how it gives you this automatic padding? That's just the beauty of CSS and HTML5. Now let's talk about our nav bar. And actually, I think that we need to, so we're going to do, for our actual nav bar, we're going to say nav. We're going to open up those brackets, and we're going to say again background color just so you can see the difference. We're going to say, I don't know, we're going to pick a hex code, whatever, it doesn't matter. BB. It doesn't matter, just so you can see some difference. And we'll also do text align center, which you'll find is a pretty popular one. Now, what we're going to do for our oh, you know what? I'll add this quick in here. If you want to change the style of the heading tag for the text, you can say color purple, right? And we'll save all that just so you can see the changes. And see, it changed the background color to this red, and it changed our H3 to that. If you wanted to include the paragraph for those same CSS attributes, if you want to change the paragraph tag to purple as well, you don't have to do another one like this. You don't have to go purple and opening brackets. You don't have to do that. You just throw a comma in there and then add that next tag attribute. So save all, and we'll just check that out real quick. And see, it made our paragraph text purple as well. Alright, so we have our nav background color and the aligned text, so see how it's in the center. But see, these things, these are a little annoying, and we want our nav bar to be in line, meaning we want it to be not as an actual list. We want it to be test link 1, then to the right test link 2, and test link 3. This used to be really difficult, but now thanks to CSS 3 and HTML5, it's a lot easier. So we're going to take our list items. All right, so we're going to do list item, simple as that. Open our bracket, and we're going to do display colon, and you can either, inline, okay? And also, I believe this is how it is, or unordered list, text decoration none, and I'll show you what that's going to do in a second. Hopefully, if I did that right, it's going to give us what we want. Yes, okay, so you see now our test link. Actually, let me change this real quick so you can see to a light color. I don't know what's a light color. Whatever. We'll say no. Whatever. I don't know. We'll say blue. Oops, blue. Save all. Okay, so just so you can see. Oh boy. Alright, light blue. Sorry about that. Save all, I forgot. Okay, so and now we have, alright, so it's a little bit easier to see. So you can see it's all in line. And here's our links, blah, blah, blah. So we took our list items and we displayed them in line, and that's a really important attribute. And also we took our entire unordered list, and the text decoration is none. You could also do, I believe it's underline, save all, refresh, and now they're all underlined. Or you could do, I think it's pretty sure strike 3, I think? I forget what it is. No, maybe it's just strike. Oops. Alright, let's see. Okay, that's not it. Never mind. Whatever. Anyway, you could do any type of decorations, but we're going to do none because we don't want that to be, we don't want that, you know, we don't want any attributes. We want to add our own. Oops. So here, okay, it's not fixing, but whatever. Text decoration, none, right, okay. And I mean, if you wanted to add an attribute to the nav bar, which I think is important, you can do your, your anchor, which is for the actual link, this part. So this will change only the links. If you add another list item in here, oops, li here, list item, close it off, right? Oops, sorry about that. Okay, save all. It's gonna add that, but it's not. It's only gonna have this part of display in line, because we're only attributing the list item. But if we add, say, color, I don't know, white. Oops, white. Let's do black, just so you can see. Save all. So now it changes all our links to black, and I guess I should have done another color so you can see. Okay, I'll figure it out here one of these days. Save all, and now they're white. But see, the list item is not white because it's only the only things that are links get changed. Now, if you add, remember, cut. If I add an anchor point to this, close that off. Okay, save all. Go back to our page. Now it changes to nothing. Oops, that's because I forgot to close that off. Sorry. Save all. And now it adds our random list item to that. And when we come back to our anchor points, we can also do anchor : hover. Open that up. And we could say when someone hovers over it, we can do gray. I don't know, it doesn't matter. Whatever color. Save all. Nothing changes except when we hover over the items, they change. Okay. Let's do something real quick to add a nice little feature to our nav bar. Something certainly not required, but it is sort of a popular trend these days. We're going to add an icon to. Yes, we're going to add an icon to our links here. All right, which is a nice little thing. So what you need to do is get this one website, and I'm gonna open up this, and I'm going to, oops, copy this, and we want to put that in the head section. You know, you can put it below the CSS. You don't have to. And I'll also post this link in the description below. This is sort of the library online that you need. See how it has an HTTP address? That means it just pulls it directly from another website. So as long as this website is up, then you're good. If not, you could download all this, and then you'd have to upload it every single time. Or not every single time, but you'd have to upload it to your local server, browser, etc. So anyway, so to add our icons, so for this, we're going to add an icon, we're going to add it right next to the text, or you could do it after, either one. I'm going to do it here. So we open up another bracket, and we type I for the icon. and we're going to do now a class, and then give ourselves equals, and then quotes, and we're going to do, say, FA space FA dash Facebook. Okay, and then we'll close that off, right? And then close off the icon. Oops, close off the icon tab. And let's see what we got there. See if it works. Most important. See, we got a little Facebook F thingy in there. Now, I mean, you can play around with the style. You can add, you know, this is frowned upon, by the way. I'm just doing it quick because I'm sort of running out of time here. You can add a font size to it, size dash. It's frowned upon to put CSS directly into HTML in the line like this, but I'm doing it just to save time real quick because I'm running short on time. You can do 24 pixels. Close that baby off. Let's see what we got here. And it just makes it a little bigger if you want. I mean, there's a million things you can do. Copy and paste this icon in the next one. We could do Twitter. We can do envelope. We can do now I forget. We could do user. There's a bunch of these things you can go. If you just type in HTML icons, and it'll run down what you can add in there. Anyway, that's a fun little thing that I like to do. Anyway, so that's it. So that's our nav bar. We create an unordered list, and then we add our list items inside our HTML5 nav section. And then we add, for the list item, we display inlines, unless you're doing a sidebar, but that's another video. Our unordered list has a text decoration of none, which is so that it doesn't have those list items, the little circles. I forget what they're called. We changed our anchor points, or our links, our link color, and also made it hover. And then we also added the fun icons, which is kind of popular these days. All right, so anyway, so that's the video. Thank you very much for watching. Hope it wasn't too long-winded for you. Anyway, leave a comment, let me know what you want to see, or let me know what you want me to do, etc. Or leave a thumbs up. I'd appreciate that as well. And all right, have a good day.